In this video, we are going to learn HTML5 canvas. So a canvas is simply a rectangle on our page where we can draw anything we want using JavaScript code. So first of all, to create the canvas, we need the canvas tag. So in our case, let's place it inside the container div that we created there. So it's going to be canvas. Let's give it an ID, which we're going to use later in the code. I'm going to call it paint. And we can add some other attributes like the width that we can set to 500 pixels, the same width of the container, and the height to 400, the same as the container. Okay, now let's just add some styling to our canvas right after the container. So let's give it a background color. White. Okay, and also let's change the cursor to a crosshair. Okay. Now to draw on the canvas, we are going to need to write some JavaScript code. So let's go to our JavaScript file. Okay. So first of all, we will need to define a variable to get the element canvas. So let's call this variable canvas, and we're going to use the document getElements by ID to get our canvas, which is the elements of ID paint. Okay. Now we are going to use one method of the canvas element, which is getContext, which is going to return a drawing context on the canvas. So we're going to define another variable that we're going to call context, and we're going to set it to canvas getContext. Okay, and we're going to give it a parameter 2D. So we're getting the 2D context here. Okay, so now we are ready to start drawing on our canvas. So we are going to draw a line. Okay, so to draw a line, we need to start first by declaring a new path. And to do that, we need to access the context variable, okay, which refers to the 2D context. And then we're going to use a method begin path. Okay, so this is going to begin our path. Now, to set the point or the starting point, we're going to use another method, which is context move to. So now we're going to define two coordinates for our starting point. So for example, if we go for 50 and 50, so the first element is the horizontal value, how far we are from the left border, and the second element is the vertical value, how far we are from the top border. Okay, so we are starting at a certain point somewhere around there. Okay, and then we are going to move to another point. Okay, so what we've done here, we have positioned the context point, which is the start point. Okay, now we are going to draw a straight line from that point to another point, which is located there. So from the starting point to a new position. So to do that, we're going to use another method. It's called line2. It's pretty straightforward. Okay, so this one is going to go to another point, and let's try 200 and 200. Okay, so now before we show our line, we can define a few parameters, like the line width, the color of the line, and so on. So let's define these parameters right there, okay, before moving to the first point. So let's define the line width. So to do that, we're going to use a method called line width. It's pretty easy. So we're going to set it to a number which is going to correspond to the number of pixels. So if we set that to 40, that means 40 pixels for the line width. Okay. Also, we can set the color of the line using another property, and this time it's going to be stroke style. And let's set that to a green color, like that. Okay, and we need to put it in side quotes. Okay, so we define the width of the line and the color of the line. Okay, so now if we try this code, we're not going to see anything on our screen. So now to make the line visible, we need to use another method, which is going to be stroke. So now if we execute the code, then we're going to see a straight line. So that's our starting point and that's our end point. We can add some other properties to our line. So for example, we can define a line cap. So let's do that. Okay, so there are a few options we can use here. So call like round, but square. Okay. So to do that, we're going to use the line cap method. Okay, and we're going to set that to one of those. So let's go for a round cap. So let's save, and now we can see a round cap for our line. Okay. All right. Now let's move to another point right there. Okay, so we're going to add another line. So we're drawing another line, and again we are using the same method, line2. Okay, and we're going to go to another point. So this time let's go to the point of coordinates 400 and 100, somewhere around there. Okay, so let's save this. Okay, so now we can see two lines. And one final thing, we can style the line join. Okay, so we can set a line join style. And to do that, we've got a few parameters we can use. We've got bevel, round, or emitter. You can try all those. So the method to use here is going to be line join. Okay, and we're going to set that to one of those. So if we try round, for example, it's going to give us a round join, just like that. Okay, so I suggest you keep playing with this to get used to drawing on canvas. And then in the next video, we are going to understand the logic of our app.